this time last year we were talking to you, maybe to put you up during the Six Nations. How do you look at the Six Nations match? Through what prism are you seeing it? Did you go to the match? Are you watching it at home with your friends? How much of an element is it of wanting to be there?
Yeah, obviously everyone wants to. I think pretty much everyone who plays the rugby in Ireland wants to be part of that team, especially if they're going pretty well at the moment. Me personally, I'm watching it from home with my family, and obviously I can lot to learn from those lads for sure. I play with them week in, week out, so I know what they're thinking. It's obviously for us as a team as well. It's good for us to learn, kind of see what they're doing, see what we need to work on during this period while the internationals are away.
Obviously, you're looking at it through a different prism than normal people.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, as I was saying, I'd love to be out there, and a lot of people who are in here at the moment in Leinster would love to be out there as well. But there's a lot for us to learn from watching the games. Obviously, Ireland are doing pretty well at the moment, and they're playing pretty good rugby. So it's good for us to take some learnings from those matches and try replicate them in our matches that we've got coming up over the next few weeks.
And have you had any contact with the national coaches? Is that part of the normal process with a player with your profile on any ways they're talking, or is that just done through Leinster for the moment as you build up the amount of appearances and your game time?
Yeah, well, sure. If you're putting up your hand for contention, the Irish coach will get on to you, and if you're in around the team, or if you're being left out of the team, they'll get on to you and give some tips or what you need to kind of work on and to try push yourself to get into that team. Obviously there's a lot of competition, particularly in the back row, so I've been given stuff to work on, and I'm sure a lot of the other players who are still in Leinster at the moment have been given the same.
Very good. There was something I noticed over the last while, and maybe you noticed it as well. Fewer scrums in matches, and sometimes if a team gets a penalty near the posts, it used to maybe they might opt for a scrum, but now there's a few more tap and go moves. Obviously Leinster for the last couple of years had a very good pick and jam system, but it also resulted in a lot of scrums if you were held up over the line, and now that's not the case as well. Have you changed? Are you doing the same amount of scrum work, or is there more time spent on figuring out counters from the dropouts and tap and go moves?
Yeah, obviously the whole new rule changes means we kind of need to look at some certain areas. In particular, obviously you mentioned the tap and go penalty, which is you can see in a lot of teams around the world be doing. But at the same time, scrum's still a really big part of the sport, and we spend just as much time as we have in previous years on scrum. I think it's something that we look to build on and try to use as a weapon for us in matches, and I think it's something we definitely put a lot of emphasis on. But as I said, with the 22 dropouts and the goal line dropouts, it's definitely something we need to keep working on. As you've seen, it's happened a lot in games recently with people being held up over the line. So it's just something you need to keep working on and making sure you're not dropping off in that area.
Very good. And this is something I ask a lot of the younger players from around the provinces, and especially now with the lockdown restrictions being eased, what is it that you do when you're trying to take a break from rugby? If you ever do take a break from rugby, what are your hobbies outside of rugby? Everyone has to switch off now and again.
Yeah, no, definitely. Sure, you need something to take your mind off rugby. Personally, I've got college. I'm studying here in UCD, so that kind of takes up a lot of my time outside rugby. But as with the hobbies, I play golf and hang out with friends and just kind of relax outside of her.
What are you studying?
I'm studying commerce in UCD. So it's pretty tough course and it requires a lot of time.
Very good. What's your golf handicap?
I'm up 12, so still a few shots.
Really?
Yeah.
God, you spend a lot of time on the course, so.
I've been playing for a while now. I should be lower than what I am.
Very good. Who do you play with from the team, or is it just your pals outside it, or?
Yeah, fair few lads in here play golf now. I think, especially during lockdown, a lot of people have taken it up. So it's something a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Started playing.
Who's the best player in Leinster?
Kieran Foley's pretty good now. He'd be pretty low handicap.
Right. Very good. Okay, listen, and just finally, Edinburgh top of the table. Does that make it extra spicy for you guys because that's where you usually live?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously coming off a tough loss against Cardiff last week. They're a good attacking team. Edinburgh the same. Edinburgh, they've been playing some really good rugby this week, so we know we need to be switched on defensively. And obviously we don't want to go back-to-back loss, especially being at home. So we're really looking forward to this week and turn the page.
Best of luck. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Yeah, hi Scott. Jerry Curry here.
Hi Jerry, how are you?
City FM. I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, look, a tough day at the office against Cardiff away, and tight game, could have gone anyway in the end. So obviously, as you say, you don't like to lose 2 games in a row. So big emphasis on getting it right this week at home against Edinburgh.
Yeah, definitely. We had a lot of mistakes, a lot of individual errors in the Cardiff game. So it's something that we've had time to reflect on. We were off last week, so it's something we were able to reflect on and build. We can start to build towards this Friday night. In particular around the breakdown, I think it's an area we're going to put a lot of emphasis on. We were turned over way too many times in the game, so I think it's something as a team where we've got a big mindset to go and chase this week.
Yeah, okay, and just looking at, you've played 8 games, 30 points, you're in 4th place. Ulster actually on top on 36, and then Edinburgh on 34. So, every game from now on is kind of, vital to get results in.
Yeah, exactly. We say every point counts. The URC isn't won this time of the year, but if you can win all your games, definitely throughout this block, it tees you up to be in a nice position towards the end of the season where you're not. So you put yourself in a good position that you don't have to win games toward the end of the season. You want to put yourself in a nice, comfortable position. Hopefully, you get onto the top of the table so that we can control our own destiny when it comes to the knockout stages.
Okay, and also we're thinking there, I might have said this to you before, I think I may have, but if you were picking a position on the Leinster team to play in the back row forward, this must be one of the most competitive areas, and in terms of, how hard do you strive to get up to that next level, to get maybe get the international call up and that?
Yeah, exactly. I think the back row in Leinster and in Ireland is pretty stacked at the moment. You can see the whole starting back row there from the weekend was all from Leinster. So it's something you have to keep working on every day. You keep trying to get better, and I think it's good. I think it's pretty good that the competition is so high that it means everyone's pushing themselves, and it means they're standing in training. By the time it comes to the game, everyone's ready, no matter who's in that position.
Okay, so finally for me, you said your hobbies there. I think Michael Alatoa plays the guitar, and I just wonder if you play the ukulele or any stringed instrument like that.
Yeah, I learned the ukulele back in school. Now I'm not very good. I can play 1 or 2 songs. I wouldn't be an expert though.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Mill.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Michael. Scott, just a couple of quick questions there for Leinster TV before we wind up. Scott, just you mentioned there about having last week off. When you come off the back of a loss like that to Cardiff, as a player, is it something like you'd rather just get back on the horse, as it were, or did the break come at a good time?
Yeah, obviously it would have been nice to have a game last week to rewrite the wrongs, but again, it was a good time to reflect back on our mistakes individually and as a team. I think it's something we've now taken the chance to learn, and we're looking forward to bring our learnings into effect this Friday night.
And Edinburgh on Friday night in the RDS. Interesting listening to some of the Irish lads talk about the Aviva at the weekend and playing in front of family and friends in a full house for the first time. With the easing of restrictions, the RDS, family and friends back there, it's going to be a pretty special place, not only this Friday but over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of us haven't played now in the RDS for a while. Personally, I haven't played it since the Ulster game. It was about 3 months ago now. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love playing in front of the fans. It's always a great atmosphere, especially on a Friday night. So it'll definitely be one that I'm looking forward to.
And finally, Scott, can't let this moment go without talking about your Crokes days. You grew up playing with Liverpool Crokes, and obviously it's a massive weekend for that club and an All-Ireland club final. I'm sure you'd be wishing everyone there and some of the lads that you would have played with the very best of luck. Yeah,
exactly. I love Crokes. I've played there pretty much all my life until I switched over to rugby, but Crokes are boo.
And who of the current squad or current team who would have been playing underage with yourself?
Fair few of them. Hugh Kenny would have been one I'd play with a lot. Jeez, put me on the spot here.
But overall, wishing the Dublin club, the Leinster club, the very best of luck in the Ireland final this weekend.
Yeah, big time. Hopefully they can come get the win.